What's up, everybody?
Hi everybody, it's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations. Just want to hop on with this week's holiday card series. So these cards are actually really super fun cards this week. And they're cards that I have not made in a very long time, and I kind of forgot all about them until I was searching Pinterest the one day. And I was like, oh, I haven't made those cards in a very, very long time. So I thought, what a great opportunity to make those cards here for you tonight on, or this morning, I guess, when you're watching this, on our weekly holiday card series. So I hope you enjoy these. So there's two cards that are similar, but they're different. They're not your traditional cards. They are not cards that you might be able to mail them, but they might be a little bit chunky. But you may have to hand deliver these ones because they might need a little bit of instructions. So for the recipient, but if you're looking to wow your family and friends this year with a holiday card, this is them. I'm telling you, these are the cards you want to be making, and they're super, super easy. So I'll pop the measurements up here on the screen as I get going. But let's get started and we'll see how we make out. All right, so I am using Winter Meadow for this first suite. I've got some of my dies popped out here. I have to actually put these onto a magnetic sheet. So Magical Meadow, I guess, is what this is actually called. I keep calling it Winter Meadow. It's called Magical Meadow. And I love this bundle because it's not a Christmas set. It's a winter set. And there's a great variety of dies that come with this set. And again, being a holiday or a winter set, not a holiday set. You can turn it into a holiday set if you would like, but it's not actually designed as just a holiday set. It's more of a winter set for us. So that's really awesome. I love that Stampin' Up! did that for us because a lot of times we have a lot of just holiday type stamps and bundles. All right, so first thing we're going to do, so I didn't tell you what we're making. So the first card is going to be a pinwheel card. So I don't know if many of you have ever made a tower pinwheel card before. But like I said, it's been quite a while since I had made one. So I was super excited to try it again. I did make two different styles yesterday. But I didn't finish them. I just wanted to make sure I had the measurements right and I was comfortable with it and that kind of thing. So the first thing you need is you need a piece of cardstock, and this piece is going to be 4.5 by 5, and I will put the measurements up here on the screen as we get going. So 4.5 by 5, and then what you want to do is on your 4.5 side. Okay, so on your 4.5 side, I've brought in my scoring board. I love my scoring board. I am going to score this at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the 4.5 inch side. So you'll have this flap here, which is exactly what we're looking for. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't need this right now. But what I do want is a little bit of tear and tape. And the reason I say tear and tape is because tear and tape is a little more sturdy than other adhesives, and you don't have to worry about it drying or not drying or any of that. So the other thing you want is your bone folder. So if you don't have a bone folder in your toolkit, it's a must-have. So you buy it once, it'll last you 100 years. So what we're going to do is we're going to burnish this onto each of those score lines. Okay, and last one. Okay, so now, and the burnishing part is fairly important because you want to make sure you have nice, crisp score lines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my tear and tape along this 1/2 inch side. And I just want to make sure this is still recording. Okay. So I'm just going to take that much off and lay that down. Okay, and then I like to push this down with my bone folder. And if I had my take your pick tool close, I would use that, but I don't. So I'm just going to pick this up, and that peels right off. Now, the easiest way to do this, excuse me, is to turn my card And I'm just going to lay it, fold it in half essentially. So when I lay it flat, it lines up perfect. So I don't have to worry about it lining up incorrectly or not, okay? And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm just moving it around. But now what I've done is I've created my tower, which will be the center of my card. And it's just it's square, right? But this will lay flat for mailing purposes. All right, so now the next thing that we need, excuse me, is we need 4 pieces of solid cardstock. And the solid cardstock here are 3.5 by 5. And so I am using Moody Mauve. I'm going to put these to the side because I only need one at a time. And I do need Designer Series paper. And this is the Winter Meadow paper. And these are a measurement of 3.25 by 4.75. Okay, and again, I will put the measurements up, so don't stress about writing them down. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to layer these all down. You can do this part after. I just find it's a lot easier to do this now as I'm going. Okay, so I'll put that one to the side. So if you have directional paper when you're doing this, you really want to pay attention to how you're gluing this down. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter until you actually get building your card. But these are going to be our 4 panels, excuse me, that are going to go on our card. And so this is kind of the boring part to the card. So you won't really see too much of the tower or the centerpiece that we did, because these will go into the middle or into each of those panels. So I am using my silicone mat, you'll notice, because I am a messy crafter. Excuse me, and I tend to get glue everywhere. Okay, so there we go. So we have our 4 panels done. Okay. So now there's a couple things you can do at this point. You could use tear and tape here or on the end of your card and put those on, or you could just use regular adhesive. Okay, I'm going to use tear and tape just for simplicity's sake, and because I know I am not very patient when it comes to allowing glue to dry. And so on a video, it's probably best that I use tear and tape. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay my box flat, and I'm going to line up the edge with the score line here. So I'm just lining this up here. Okay, so I don't have to wait for that to dry. So here's my first panel. And then I'm going to lay this flat again, and I'm going to run my tear and tape here along this piece here. So I'm going to go here, pushing that down to make it a little bit easier so that when I go to lift this off, because my fingers are not cooperating today. There we go. And then I'm going to adhere this one flush. Okay, so far so good. So I have my 1 and my 2. Okay, and I'm going to lay this flat. So if I stand this up, I know that I want my tear and tape along this edge. So I'm going to put my tear and tape here. And once you get this part done, the rest is so simple. You're just decorating. So let me see here. Use that to burnish. See how nicely that comes off when you burnish it? Okay. Oh, I should probably make sure that my paper is going the right direction, though. I don't know that it really matters too much with this paper, but okay. So here we go. So I have 3. So now I just have my last one to do here. So again, knowing that I want to go on the side. So if I was doing this with liquid, you can do it. Oops, you can absolutely do this with liquid. You just have to give it enough time to dry. But you know me, I'm not very patient, so I like to use tearing tape. There we go. All right, so here is my last panel. And it's nice because you can lay this flat, but then it actually, so to mail it, you can mail it flat. Excuse me, but then when the recipient gets it, they can stand it up, right? So you see how these panels are just Moody Mauve, and that's kind of boring. So what I did was I cut designer series paper to match. And this one is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. And excuse me, and I'm going to use the opposite side of the paper just to kind of dress it up a little bit. Otherwise, I think it might be too much Moody Mauve. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the glue down. And I'm going to line that up. And then I'm flipping it like a book. And I could actually put the glue right onto my designer series paper. So this is the back side of this paper. And if you are familiar with Stampin' Up, you know they did a fantastic job on their designer series paper, making both sides incredibly stunning. So here we go. And then there's my last. So this card is going to be very hard to photograph for you and for you to get a good appreciation for it on camera. But if you're here in my studio attending a class, you can absolutely check it out. Just want to make sure everything is glued down flat and dry. There we go. Okay, and now we're just at the part where we're decorating. So what we can do here is I have used some of the adhesive sheets on the back of my dies, and I could actually just put some of these here just as a decoration, that kind of thing, okay? And then on this panel, I could put a sentiment. One, I could put just a white piece of paper so I could write my message. And then I could just do, you know, happy holidays or winter wishes or whatever, okay? So let's get decorating this one and we will have some fun. All right, so what I've actually done is I have cut out 2 pieces of basic white with the radiant stitches. So if you're not familiar with the radiant stitches, they actually have up and down stitch marks that go all the way around, and they're a lot of fun. So I was thinking I could put one here, and then I was hoping that I could use this on the one, and this one, the colder weather brings us together, which I thought was really, really nice. Okay, so I'm going to do this in Moody Mauve. It's raining really hard here tonight as I'm recording this, video for you. So, just gonna get a smaller block here for this one. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one. Actually, what I could have done with this one, I was not even thinking. Okay, so I could have actually used markers and done the stems in a different color than the berries. Not thinking. That's okay. And I'm going to do the words in Pretty Peacock. So hopefully this Pretty Peacock will cooperate, because for some reason my Pretty Peacock has gone kind of odd on me. It's hard to stamp on camera, so when you're trying not to get your head into the camera. See how faint my Pretty Peacock is? Yeah, kind of drives me a little bit sad. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. I'm going to lay this flat because the card is so chunky. I am not going to pop anything up. I'm going to keep it all very, very basic. It's really raining hard here. All right. So then for this one, I think what we can do is just maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just do one. Two is maybe too much. I'll maybe just do one on that one. So we have this amazing adhesive sheets. So this is great for these really fine dies like this, or more intricate type dies. If you don't want to use fine tip glue, this is basically adhesive sheets that you just pull off, and there's glue already. If I'd done that, you know, a little bit more elegant. There's already glue on here for us. So all we have to do is peel off the backing. So it makes it a sticker is essentially what it's doing. There, like that. Okay, so that's a lot easier than using your fine tip glue. Some people do like to use the fine tip glue. I like using the fine tip glue, but excuse me, I've had adhesive sheets sitting here for a very long time. Completely forgot that I had them. So you can see how super fun this card can be to make. Okay, so then I have two more. So I think what I'll do is I will get two more rectangles here, one to write a message and one to put some more of the elements on here. Like that, because I think just on the paper it kind of gets lost a little bit, right? All right, so here I am with two more radiant stitches, and so I'm going to put this one here. Maybe we can put two on that one. All right, let me glue this one down, and then we will put the last one down that will actually just be for us to write on, or the recipient, the sender to write on if it's not us. Okay, so see if I can do a little bit better job peeling off the adhesive sheet on this one. The last one seemed to be a little bit messy. So you do want to be very careful when you're peeling that off that you don't rip your die. And so this one I ended up getting on right where the crease was, so half of it is on one adhesive sheet and one is on the other. That's not very helpful, is it? Oh well. Okay, nonetheless, it's still better than dealing with the fine tip glue. So if you do not like fine tip glue or find it cumbersome, this might be the product for you. I was trying to kind of line up that bottom, but I guess I don't really need to. Okay, and then this one will just be where I will put this last radiant stitch, and so I could write a message. Now, essentially, if I really, really wanted to, I could cut some white to put here as well, so that I could just add some more messages. Okay, so this is what the front will look like. I'm just going to close up my glue so it doesn't dry on me. This would be my front. This is the inside, my inside, and then my message. Okay, so that's card number one. Really, really fun. Okay, now card number two is also what we would call a pinwheel card, I suppose, but I've actually heard it referenced as a block tower card. So I'm just going to put my radiant stitches die away so that I don't lose it, because we need to do some scoring. So I am going to get the measurements for you here on the screen. Here is my measurements. Here is my card base. Okay, so now this one here, we are actually using Joyful Christmas as our suite of choice on this one. So this card base is a little bit bigger. This card overall is bigger. So you would have to make a customized envelope for this. So this one here is 7.5 by 5.25. So it may not fit in a standard envelope, okay? So what we would like to do here is on your 7 side, we are going to go ahead and we are going to score at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5.25, and 7. So you're going to notice again that I have a 1/2 inch mark here. Okay, and again, the measurements will be on the screen here for you. So 1 3/4, 3.5, 5.25, and 7. Okay, so we are done scoring. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Again, this is where you want your bone folder. So we're going to burnish. And then we're going to burnish. And one more time. And there we go. Okay. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to use our tear and tape and we're going to run it on the 1/2 inch part. So we're going to run this along here. Okay. And same thing, we're just going to fold this right over like in half. And what that's going to help us do is make sure that this is actually bang on. So there's no trying to muck around getting it lined up perfectly. Okay. Whoops, get over there. So I'm just going to fold that in half. And there's my box. So you can see the difference in size in the box here as opposed to the last one we did. But again, it folds flat. So we are good to go. So now if you want to burnish that even more, you can. So there you go. Okay. So this one needs a lot more pieces and a lot more gluing, but I think it's well worth it. Okay. So what do we have here? You need 12 pieces. So what I have done is 6 of one pattern and 6 of another pattern. So I'm just trying to get my patterns together here. So you need 12 pieces of solid cardstock, and these are going to be 3.5 by 1 3/4. Okay, keeping in mind measurements are going to be available on the screen. And then you need, well, I did 6 pieces. You can do them all the same pattern if you'd like. And this one is going to be 3/4 of an inch, 3 1/4, I'm sorry, 3 1/4 of an inch by 1.5. Sorry, 1.5. Sorry, 1.5 by 3 1/4. Boy, I'm struggling. Okay, so now what we need to do, this is the boring part, so I may have to see if I can figure out how to fast forward the video a little bit, is we need to glue these all down onto our solid pieces here. Okay, and maybe for the sake of time, I might just do these as we go, just because maybe it won't be as boring for you if I do them as we go. Okay. If I was creating this card, honestly, what I would do is do all my gluing together all at the same time. And then, although it seems, excuse me, a little bit redundant and a little boring, I think it would be a lot easier because then you can just get into a rhythm of just glue, glue, glue. So I like the red in the red plaid and the floral. So this is that Joy of Christmas stamp. So it's beautiful. It's one of my favorites. This one you're going to have a little bit more of a challenge decorating. So I'm not going to decorate anything too much on this one actually, just because I want to show you how to assemble the card. And then you can always decorate as you see fit. But I think to decorate this one would be a little bit more time consuming for a video. So, and the paper's so incredibly beautiful. I don't really know that you need to decorate it overly too much anyway. Just to be completely transparent on that. But again, this would make an amazing birthday card or thinking of you card, or a fun kids card. I would imagine kids would love, love, love this as a card, because it is one that you don't see very often. So it's a really cool layout. But again, you would have to make a customized envelope for this, because I believe it's 7.5 inches high, which is sorry, is it 7.5? Yeah, 7.5 inches high. So it's not going to fit in a standard envelope. Okay, my last one. I guess I didn't take as long as I thought it was going to take. All right, here we go. So my apologies for that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to bring in our card base. I'm going to lay it flat. My score line is right here. So I'm going to put my bone folder here so on video you can tell where my score line is. This is really important, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay one of these pieces here. I'm going to lay one of these pieces here. And then I'm going to lay the other piece here. So I'm flipping them, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down. And again, if you're using liquid glue, you have to be patient, which we all know that I am not. And then, so I've glued it on this side. So this one, I'm going to glue on the opposite end. Okay, now this is not a patterned paper, so I could essentially, if I had glued it the wrong way, flip it over. But if you're using a patterned paper, you want to make sure. Now this one is going to go the same as this one. So I'm going to put my glue here. And these do butt up against each other. Okay, I thought maybe there's a space between them, but there is not. Okay, so this way, that way, this way. Okay, so what is that? Right, left, right. Okay, so then I'm going to turn this. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay this like this. So what pattern did I have here? You have to really think about this one. So I have this one here. So I think what I'll do is I'll do the opposite. So I'll start with the plaid. So I'm going to go plaid here. Okay, so plaid here. And then I'll do poinsettias here. So how do I know that I'm doing this right? Well, because I have a hole here, right? So I'm basically filling in the hole. But you have to think about your pattern, right? I'm just going to put this down so it doesn't flop away on me. And then there we go. Okay. So again, you have to be very cautious as you're doing this, because it is, you're using liquid glue. Okay. So this is a super fun card. Okay, so I'm going to lay this one flat. So then what do I have here? I have plaid. So now I'm going to do poinsettias here. Okay. Poinsettias. Or poinsettias. Some say it one way, some say it the other. And then I'm going to do plaid. And I'll take a picture of these and get these posted so you can see. I'll try to do my best to get a picture of them. It's kind of hard to get a good picture of these. You really do have to see it in person to appreciate it. So if you're coming to my soiree next week, this will be available in the studio for you to see. So as you build, your pieces will start to kind of interconnect and might get caught on each other, and that's okay. But we have one more section that we need to do here. So this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky, because if I lay this flat, I can do these two, but then I have to be able to get in here to do this last one. So a couple ways you can do this. You can stand it up to do it, or you could lay it flat and do these two and then just stand it up to do the last one that goes right here. Okay, so so this one is going to go here. So you can see how I have the opposites. So that's good. I've done it right so far. And I mean, not that there's a right or a wrong, because I could have done them all the same. But I just thought it would be kind of cool to rotate them back and forth like that. So I'm doing the top and the bottom, and I've left the middle for a second. I'll let that kind of dry. I'm going to open this up. Again, being very careful. Oops. Did I do that wrong? Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on, Houston. I did do that wrong. My apologies. Maybe you're better off to stand it up. There we go. And you can see exactly what you're doing. So my 3 plaids should be together. My apologies. Oh boy. Okay. And then I want this one to go in here. Okay. So, which I have to stand it up to actually get it in, because there's no real way to get this piece in here otherwise. So you kind of have to use a little bit of patience on this one. So I think what I might do is see if I can take this one off and re-glue it. So this is where using liquid glue is nice, because if you mess up, you can easily pull it off. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so it's kind of a super fun card, so that when it lays flat, I have all 3 of my patterns, and no matter which way I do it. It's kind of like a never-ending card, but it's just stands. So what I could actually do is on these ones that have more of a pattern, or the plaid, I could actually put wishing you Merry Christmas or something, right? And then leave the floral ones or the greeneries the way they are. Or I could just put my white pieces of paper that I want to write my message on. But yeah, super, super cute. A really fun card, but this is something that you would definitely have out on display, that you would, it would definitely be a conversation starter, right? Because it's like, wow, look at that card. That's really neat. And you're like, yeah. But you see how easy it was. It was not hard at all. You just really have to pay attention to how you're putting your papers down and that kind of thing. So in a very short period of time, like half an hour-ish, I was able to show you 2 very super fun cards that are not your traditional Christmas cards. So if you're looking for something a little bit different this holiday season, these are the cards for you. Okay. All right. So I hope you loved those. I hope you're really enjoying these holiday card series. I would like to do more if there's interest, but if you're not finding any value from them, then please let me know and I just won't waste my time doing them. But I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, and I would love for you to comment and share this video with all your paper crafting friends that you think might have found this really interesting. So the biggest compliment you can give me is by sharing and commenting on my videos. So that really, really helps me get my videos out to everybody else out there that I can't reach otherwise. So I hope you're loving these series. I'd love to hear your feedback and your input. And if you have any questions, or if you have a card that you'd like me to attempt, please definitely send it my way. I'm always up for a good challenge. And come back next week for another card series. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.